Let's put that genie back in the bottle.
Paints with the colors of the wind, bitch.
It's time for two finger point.
Power daddy.
Our shoes are in the pond.
Extra magic hours, which we in turn called extra tragic hours.
People called him the naked mole rat.
Did you really just two finger point?
Here are your hosts, Amber and Kylie.
Welcome back to Two Finger Point Podcast. I'm Kylie.
I'm Amber.
And we are just gonna get into the swing of things. So we've got some Disney news. Did you want to share about Mr. Iger?
Yeah. Okay. So he's our favorite among everyone else. So Bob Iger's contract as CEO, he was extended through 2026. So he was supposed to only run through 2024 next year, but he was extended an additional 2 years in his contract, ununanimously, by the way. So as much as we love him, the company as well, and the employees do. And just a quote from the chairman of Walt Disney, he said, "Time and time again, Bob has shown an unparalleled ability to successfully transform Disney to drive future growth and financial returns, earning him reputation as one of the world's best CEOs."
Yeah, so I read that quote too, and it was pretty interesting. I'm actually reading, not reading, I'm not gonna lie, I'm using the audiobook, but it's Bob Iger's memoir that came out this year, called Ride of a Lifetime. When I'm finally done with that, I'll definitely will do an episode or a little segment on that. But he's definitely one of the most respected CEOs, I think, in today's time. And he also has a master class on business that I considered taking.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this. So this is actually kind of cool. I would consider that as well, because he's a very respected businessman, clearly by not only his employees, but by so many other people. I didn't realize how long he had held his CEO title for Disney.
Forever.
Yeah, 2005 to 2020.
Yeah. And I think
years.
he kept extending it then too, because I remember, what was it? I think it was before Avengers Endgame, he was supposed to expire, and he extended it then, and everyone was like, oh, he just wants to see the new Avengers.
It's funny though. In those 2 years that he was not CEO, we saw, from my perspective, I feel like we saw a lot of decline in Disney in general. And just from perspective, I have family members who work, in Disney corporate, and they kind of felt the same way. They didn't love who came and stepped in for 2 years, and they're quite happy that Bob Iger's back now.
I believe it. Even I remember the Disney Channel, wasn't that supposed to end this year as well?
Oh, it was? I didn't hear about that. Wait, they were trying to end it? No.
Yeah, well, I think it was because of streaming, but
yeah,
here we are in July and it's still up and running. But I know I've seen a lot of stuff about Disney having to shift in certain ways because of the bad business moves that have been made. And then we've had to lay people off, and
it's been a trying year, to say the least, for Disney. And it's good to have Bob Iger back, I think, in his CEO position. But yeah, unfortunately, it seems like he's having to clean up a lot of messes that were left behind during his absence. So
is he just like making up his mind, like, okay, I'm gonna do it till now, or does he get terms from Disney and then it's just like that way they can get out of it if they want to or whatever? Do you know how that works?
I don't know how it works, but my assumption is like, every job like this is going to have a contract for X amount of years. I would assume it's probably something like 4 years, right? Okay. And then I think probably their board or board of executives or whoever are going to do a vote, and then they'll bring it to a different vote to
that makes
extend.
Sense.
That would be my guess. It's definitely very politicky, like you said. But yeah, that I'm not fully sure about.
That makes more sense.
But like I said, he's loved by his board. Anyway, so moving on from the corporate side of things, something that I saw that was really fun. So we're sticking in Halloween for July. I think it's getting really hot. Everyone wants to talk Halloween spooky ooky stuff. So I think that's where we'll reside for a little bit.
Summer's kind of over, not in the sense of it is, but the summer excitement's over. So
Yeah.
we have Halloween to look forward to next. That's all.
Oh, you know what? I love it. Fall, summer fall in the summer. I love it. So they announced that Not So Spooky Halloween Party is going to have a dessert party for their fireworks show this year at Magic Kingdom.
That sounds incredible.
So I'm excited. This is cool. So tickets start on sale July 18th. So Monday. Is that Monday? Tuesday. Sorry, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I am all over the place with my dates and everything. Goodbye, coffee. I'm done with the coffee for right now. So, of course, fireworks show is going to be, dessert party show is going to be Tomorrowland Terrace, as they do their other dessert party shows at Magic Kingdom in Disney World. Throwback to Tomorrowland and my Spaceland, costume and all that. And this got me thinking. I feel like and just tell me if you feel differently. I feel like we could have had a better experience being there during the holidays. I feel like I would have had way more fun.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing I would think of is if I were missing my family on the exact holidays, because I know Easter was a little hard for me to get through. But there would have been so much more to do. And if I could go back and do anything different, I would have done the fall instead of the spring.
I agree. I always think about this because I just, for us, we saw them putting away the Halloween and holiday outfits as we were coming into, the Spring Advantage program. And I thought, wow, it would have been so cool to be there and, be a part of creating the magic during the holidays.
Yeah, I remember during my traditions when we were taking the buses or whatever to Magic Kingdom, we were, backstage and we saw some of the props from Christmas and they were like, oh yeah, we're packing those back up. And where does this go? They're massive. But it was interesting to see a little behind the scenes on that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me that brings more magic to it because you get to kind of see like the full circle of everything because we get to you see it as a guest, like you see the parades and you see all these different props, but like when you kind of see and get it put away, it's like a backstage pass to seeing like a little like, okay, that's what's going on back there.
Yeah. It's fun.
So it would have been cool. And they had cool costumes too. I saw like for Halloween, they had like these purples and oranges. For Christmas, it was obviously the greens and reds with like candy canes and stuff. I don't know. I'm an outfit girly. I wanted to wear a cool outfit. I had a plethora of outfits, but they weren't cute.
Yeah.
But I was always jealous of the Main Street outfits. Do you remember how like Main Street Confectionery, they had the cutest little,
The little stripes. Yeah. Retail was fine.
Yeah.
They always looked cute.
They just made us food sellers, ODV, quick service. They made us look like as silly as possible.
Right? I don't understand why. We could have looked cute.
We could have. There was no reason for it. So I don't know. Moving over to California, Disneyland, but keeping it spooky. Like I said, we're keeping it spooky. So Disneyland Oogie Boogie Bash is officially totally sold out. So the second go ahead.
You saw my face. I have a question for you because I know you were thinking about it. Did you try to buy tickets and were you successful?
So I'm not gonna lie, I read this article the day after tickets went on sale and I obviously was unsuccessful. No, I didn't get tickets. I'm a little bit disappointed. So I did actually do some research and I guess I got my facts wrong, but June 27th, they had Magic Key Holder access to the tickets. I could have bought tickets in advance and had tickets, but I didn't.
Oh, well. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So no, I don't get to go to Oogie Boogie Bash this year, unfortunately. Totally sold out for anyone who wants to go, but it looks like it's going to be really fun.
We can live vicariously through social media.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people now I've noticed, like if you want to see something, they do like lives. They'll literally just take their camera with them and just like walk all day through the park, like live.
Why would you do that though?
Yeah, I don't know why they do it, honestly. Like that would get exhaustive, but like thank you because I like watching it.
Yeah, it's nice for the viewers, but as the person doing it, like unless you're monetizing off of it, then get your bag. But I feel like you're wasting your time when you could be out creating your own memories.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, like, hopefully they have like a tripod or something set up on like a backpack where they can walk. Like that would be the most ideal thing for me.
Yeah, or like the GoPro strap.
Oh, I
Chest
forgot
piece
about
thing.
that. That's probably what it is like a GoPro or something. But yeah, I feel like that's a good way to ruin the magic. See, like not all this backstage stuff, that's a good way to ruin it because it's just like, I don't know. You're just a camera, you're just a lens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I guess, thank you for continuing to do it, people who do, because I will be watching Oogie Boogie Bash through you guys this year. And so Haunted Mansion comes out, the new movie comes out July 28th. So for that, they actually did like a little food stuff in the parks for it, starting July 14th. So already in the parks because today is for us, what's
Today's
today?
the 16th.
16th. So starting, now and before. So Cafe Orleans has a seafood boil and a vanilla mousse. The seafood boil, it looks like it has like clams and shrimp with corn, kind of like a gumbo-esque type thing. It says boil, but I don't know, like maybe not gumbo. Just a plethora of different things in there. And then it's got lemon on the side to squeeze. Next, we have at the churro carts in New Orleans Square, a strawberry flavored sugar with fresh strawberries, purple cherry sugar, freeze-dried strawberries, and a donut icing drizzle.
Wait, what is the actual dish?
It's a churro. Like it's a churro.
Oh, a
with all
churro.
this,
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my bad.
I was like, the sugar and drizzle.
All you get is drizzle, guys. No churro. It's just all the crap.
Sounds like a stomach ache. Okay, it's a churro.
It still does sound like a stomach ache to me. And I saw a picture of it. It looks good, but there's a lot of sugar going on here. Maybe take some of it back. Like,
yeah, let's enhance the strawberry. Maybe like and dip it in strawberry sauce and maybe some cream cheese.
Okay, see, there we go. Strawberries and cream churro.
Oh, yes. Okay.
That would be everything. I think they were trying to get like bloody with it because Haunted Mansion. It's not bloody, but
strawberry sauce would resemble the blood.
Exactly. So one that's a little bit more Haunted Mansion themed is the Crystal Ball cereal treat.
Oh, that's cute.
Right? So they have it at Candy Palace and Candy Kitchen. It's a cereal treat in a black colored dark chocolate with teal and black M&Ms embellished with a Madame Leota chocolate piece.
That sounds super cute. I feel like that's what the kids would love.
Oh yeah. Anything that's, on a stick that I can just kind of like munch on or like take with me. Cake pop. I'm a big cake pop fan. So like this cereal treat is interesting because I didn't know they did that version. I thought it was just cake pops. So
yeah.
Okay, so the last thing they have for the Haunted Mansion is something called Pickwick Ghost Punch. It's a non-alcoholic drink, and it's they're going to have it by Royal Street Veranda and Harbor Gallery. It's a combination of fruit, citrus juices, and sherbet. So
like sherbet, like the ice cream type stuff? Oh,
yeah,
that sounds good.
Like a sherbet float, basically, I would think, with like juice.
Yeah, and fruit with it. Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to this, especially on like a really hot day. This could be really good.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to try some of this. I definitely want to try the cereal treat now because I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this seafood boil. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're that girl from the South, so
I know, I'm nervous. I'm just nervous about it, that's all. But I've had their clam chowder. So if I think that's safe, I feel like the seafood boil should be safe.
Yeah, it's a Disney. I don't think they're gonna have food poisoning.
I know. I think this is just from a perspective of being a prep cart girl.
True.
So moving across all the way over the pond to Europe, we actually have some Disneyland Paris news.
And it was very enraging. The headline of this article, I have to say, I sent this to her. We both had the same initial reaction just based off the title.
Pirates of the Caribbean in Paris, Disneyland Paris, it was refurbished. And so they added this ride to Disneyland Paris's version of the Genie Plus called Disney Premier Access. It's similar in letting guests purchase the like skip the line passes, basically. So it's like, lightning lane for them essentially. And much like our Genie Plus service, there's a lot of controversy around the fluctuating price of their tickets for this service. I don't know what would be considered, just because I don't know in euros. I don't know what is considered high versus low, but they're saying the service itself launched in 2021, and prices can range from 7 to 16 euros per guest.
I'll do the conversion really quick.
Okay, because I was gonna say like that seems low to me, but like I need to know what a conversion would be.
7 euros is about $7.87, and 16 euros is about $18.
Okay, so this is still pretty low.
Cheaper than America, right?
Yeah, it is, because they increased us to starting, I think, at like 25. Before, it used to be like a fluctuating from 20 and low and high, and it's still a fluctuating price based on like high capacity days.
Mhm.
But it starts at 25 now versus $20. So I want to empathize with the Paris guests, but you guys are getting a deal, in my opinion.
I guess it is frustrating though to be able to have to pay extra to get those types of things instead of everyone just waiting their turn.
I can empathize in the sense that like you said, to credit, like when we first both read this article, we thought it was talking about the American parks. We thought, I don't know what's going on at Disney World, but we thought this was coming to Disneyland.
Yeah, and for reference, because you guys don't have access, so the title of the article you read is Disney to charge guests for Pirates of the Caribbean ride soon. So yeah, we had a reaction to that.
No, I was mad. Well, I was mad and disappointed because I've noticed that most of the rides at Disneyland that offer the Lightning Pass or Lightning Lane service, it doesn't really bring the ride line queue down. It almost increases it.
Right.
The perfect example, Indiana Jones. They have Lightning Lane, but that ride, even standby, constantly 55 to 65 minutes. I've never seen it below that ever.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, and
even in the 90s.
Yeah, so a Lightning Lane doesn't do any service to the ride. I feel it actually just does a giant disservice to a ride. I mean, think about all these Star Wars rides people want to ride. I understand there is high demand for it, but again, even these Lightning Lane passes, you're standing there for at least an hour. I mean, it's doing no service to anybody. It's just getting more people waiting in different areas, essentially.
Yeah, and honestly, it is a money grab, but honestly, Disney does a great job at making the queues also entertaining. There's little features that you can read or watch or interact with while you're waiting in line. So it's just part of the experience, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely a money grab. And I think from my perspective, I'm a little bit, skewed in the sense of being, Magic Key holder now. I don't have to buy Lightning Lane. So like, if I can't ride something, I'm a little bit less irritated because I can ride it later. But definitely speaking, before Magic Key, I remember my frustration of, if I couldn't get on that ride or if I couldn't get a Lightning Lane, I was frustrated. And I don't know. It's meant to do something good, but I feel like it's doing a lot of bad.
Yeah.
From a guest perspective.
I agree.
But maybe they'll work the kinks out and it can be better later on. That's my hope. Because it is a fairly new service for most of these parks. So I think it's just a like trial and error type of thing, hopefully.
Let's hope.
I mean, that's what I want to believe.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to find ways to pull that money back in right now. I don't agree with everything. And, there was the layoffs. Now they're doing, they're monetizing on every little thing when you're already paying hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I mean, bring back the Fast Pass. Truly, I miss the Fast Pass. I know we're I understand we're in a time where the Fast Pass tickets no longer kind of fit into everything. We've got the magic bands and everything. I don't know. There's got to be a better way to do it.
Honestly, I don't like the magic bands either. I guess for me, maybe this is my Sagittarius speaking, but I feel like I just want to go in and just let the park take me around and just do wherever the park leads me to do, instead of you have to plan everything months in advance. Like your dinner plans. What if that day I change my mind and I want to go eat at one of the pizza places or whatever? You have to have everything just so rigidly planned these days.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but I'm smiling because this is like one of the bickering moments between Eric and I.
Eric?
I'm a planner. You know me.
I knew you were going to say Eric. Our fire signs are aligning.
Yes, I could feel it. And it's very much, he's a very like go with the flow type of guy. He's like, I want to see where the day takes me, what I want to eat, what I want to do. He doesn't like to feel bogged down like that too. So you guys are very much the same. Whereas I'm like, no, plan it months in advance. So I know what I'm doing when I get there. I'm very, I'm going here, I'm going there.
I feel like it's more of, because like if I were going like to Hawaii or whatever, it's better to have it planned. But I think it's just maybe because I've been able to go to Disneyland so many times or whatever. I just feel like there's that element of magic, and it's like you might stumble upon a show you didn't know was going on, or a parade or whatever. And that's how I always did it growing up. And you didn't know what was going on, and you just, or maybe see like, oh, this show's going on in a half hour. Let's go ride this ride and come back. That planning's fine, but I don't know. I just feel like there's more magic in it when you don't plan.
Yeah, and I think personally, like thinking about it, I think it's the California and you guys. I think being, residents of California, I think that's what it is, because I'm still not like, I'll talk to Eric and I'll be like, you Californians. And he's like, you've been here for like 6 years. You are a Californian.
You're a Californian, yeah. Yeah, but it's different when you're born and raised there for sure.
Yeah. So you guys have the California attitude of like, let's go with the flow, guys. Let's, if it happens, it happens. Whereas I'm like, let's go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's just a new concept to me. Like when we worked at Disney World, the magic bands were kind of new, and I hated every minute of it.
No, they were so new that they gave us cupcakes one time in Magic Kingdom. Or did you get cupcakes too?
No, but that was the rainbow ones, right?
Yeah. And no. That was at the parks. I'll look for it. I had a picture at one point, and it said like, thanks for being a part of the magic bands or whatever, because they had just introduced the magic bands. Okay. I hated the magic bands too, because that was the dining plans and quick service and tap, 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 all that crap.
Yes, it's so annoying.
But from a guest perspective, I will say it's coming back. And I think if I were to vacation at Disney World, I would buy a dining package.
For cost purposes, for planning?
Oh, it would mainly be, well, for both technically. So, I mean, I think for planning purposes, I think it's something that's good to have, because I think it's like 2 or 3 meals and like 3 snacks a day, right? So if you're just going around, you can just tap and get like a Mickey pretzel or whatever. So I think for just like going around, it's something that it's nice to have, but I know I'll definitely go off the charts from it. But it's like, if I can't find something, it's good that I can go run to quick service and get like a dinner or a lunch if I don't find something.
Okay. When you're saying dining plan, for some reason, I was thinking like, okay, we're going to have breakfast here and lunch here. I'm like, that sounds so rigid. That would be a nightmare for me.
No, I have like a few places that I would want to go. Like, for example, at Disneyland, Blue Bayou, if I could get into the Pirates restaurant. Yeah. But other than that, when it comes to food, I'm pretty laissez-faire about that. Like, as I get hungry, I kind of grab what's around me. I just like to have accessibility.
Okay, yeah. Like if it's like Cinderella's dining room or, Beast Castle, like that's one thing. Like you probably do need to plan that. But like, do I have to go to Flo's Diner for lunch or, Pizza Planet? Who cares? Like,
thank you.
It's whatever I'm in the mood for at the time or whatever's close by.
Yeah, no, honestly, most of the trips I irritate Eric because I can't make a decision, and I start circling places and he's like, pick an ODV cart, pick something. Like, yeah, I'm not very rigid on that. I'm very like, most of the time I'm like, I don't know what I want. There's so many options.
Okay. There's just some people that are like, we're going to ride Splash Mountain, then we're going to go to Blue Bayou, and then we're going to ride Pirates. And it's like, who cares? Just slow down. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is why it works and Eric isn't totally sick of me is like, I like some planning during my day. Like, I'm like, okay, so like Splash is, busy right now. So maybe we should go here and then come back to here. Like, I'll plan like within like a couple of hours.
okay, I'm good with that. Especially back in the days where the fast passes were paper. And that was kind of fun. Like, I remember we'd go get Splash Mountain passes and then we'd go ride Winnie the Pooh like 10 times while we waited.
Oh, I love that ride.
And there's no line ever. So we would just go on it over and over and over again.
It's so funny. I'm missing Splash right now with it being really hot. Like, I think it's hard to try to go during the day and not have Splash.
Right.
But they have the Grizzly.
The Rapids and
yeah.
DCA. Yeah.
Which I still haven't done yet. Because Eric says that you get soaked on that ride. Is he right? You get like soaked?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
It's been probably at least 15 years since I've been on it, but I do remember getting pretty wet. So I can't say it's like an every time guarantee, but that was my experience.
Because when you come down, you can come and stand kind of by where they come down the ride, and if you stand in a certain spot, you can get semi-splash. But I was watching like a lot of people come down and I would look and like certain people would get a little bit wet, but some people wouldn't because you could spin, and like some people would get wet.
And that's my thought process. Like it's probably depending on where you are when the splash occurs because those boats or whatever they are, the little inner tubes are huge and they fit a lot of people on them. So not everyone's going to get splashed.
Yeah. I think I want to ride it at least once just to ride it because I've done Splash Mountain. I've gotten, whatever.
Yeah. Have you ever been on any rapid ride like that before?
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all the same.
That's what I thought too. But Eric was like, I don't think you're going to like that ride. And I think he just knows that I don't want to walk around being wet. So he's being nice.
Yeah, I feel like you dry off though within 30 to 60 minutes.
I think if you do it at the right time, like, yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do it at nighttime. Yeah, you're going to be cold and wet.
You're going to be cold. Yeah. It's better to do it in the afternoon. We always saved, as a family, the water rides for later. And I didn't like that. Like, I would rather have this at lunchtime when it was really hot. Now I'm really cold and I have to watch fireworks freezing.
Oh, hell no. Yeah. We tried to, if anything, most of my family's a little bit bougie, so we would like avoid the water rides. But when we did ride them, it was like mid-afternoon stuff, so you could dry off so that you weren't miserable by the end of the day. I'm calling them bougie like I'm not bougie, like like I didn't want to walk around. But you just remember when your jean shorts would be really wet and then it would just like chafe your thigh when you were walking?
Hey, Amber.
Hey, Kylie.
Have you been on our website lately?
You mean our really awesome website that will show you where you can stream the podcast?
That one. Not only can you stream from the site and see all the platforms we stream on, but you can also take fun Disney-themed quizzes and even grab our itineraries and scavenger hunts for the parks.
What? We have all that?
Duh. We gotta give the people what they want.
Go visit our website, twofingerpointpodcast.com. That's the number 2 spelled out. TWO, twofingerpointpodcast.com for all the good stuff.
They're up north. I think they've changed it quite a bit, but it was called Paramount's Great America. And so it was all Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network stuff and like Hanna-Barbera. Like back in the 90s, this was like it was like this or Disneyland if you lived in California. And so they had this whole area for like the slime time. So it was like a water, what are they now? Like splash pads, I guess. But it's like all the contraptions that are splashing you. Yeah, exactly. It was like that, but they like had a little green tint to them. So you thought it was slime, but it was water.
Oh.
And it was
okay, that's less gross, I guess.
Yeah, it's just water. I always wished that it was slime, but it wasn't.
I always wanted to be slimed.
Me too. That's why
bad.
I would always go in there and I'm like, I wish it was slime, but I'm sure our parents were happy it was water.
Oh God, can you imagine? They're already questioning the green water too. They're like, ew.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, they had one in Disney. They had one in Orlando too. If you recall, they had like a Nickelodeon, like it was Nickelodeon Studios or whatever. Yeah, and then it was like the area with the water park or whatever behind it too. Like I think they
Oh,
had
they
them.
had a park?
I think so. Or there was a resort. It was a resort.
And they do have a resort because we would drive by it from Vista to get to Disney World.
That's what it was. I just remember that building, and I didn't know if it was like a park or if it was like a resort.
Yeah, I think it's a resort. And then they also Nickelodeon Studios is in Orlando somewhere.
Yeah. It's such a sad building now. Do you remember when it was purple and orange?
Yeah.
It's so sad to look
now
at.
They just had like characters painted on it.
It's depressing. It's so, I mean, honestly, the 90s were a trip. We should
Can't
all
beat
live.
them.
I know. We should all live back. It was a fever dream, quite literally, based on the colors of everything.
Yes.
Okay, but anyway, speaking about the early 2000s and the 90s, our segment of the week. So we're going to talk about some of our top Disney Channel movies, original movies, or DCOMs. There are a lot of them. There's like over 100 of them. We can bring this back as a segment so we can keep talking about some of our favorites or just some that maybe you guys have forgotten about. I kind of threw some up on our list that like I forgot about, but I was like, oh my God, I watched that movie. I remember it. So I just thought it'd be fun to kind of just chat about them. And maybe you guys have never seen these movies and maybe you'll go watch them on Disney Plus now.
Okay, so my first one is Motocrossed. And Amber, you've not seen that one, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's about these twins. Well, it's mainly about the girl, but it's about these twins. I believe their names are Andrea and Andrew. And Andrew is a motocrosser guy. And I just remember they had like these big, like, dirt fields or whatever in their backyard so he could practice. Well, he has a tournament coming up and he gets hurt to where he can't compete. And so Andrea, her mom knew, but her dad did not. But she sneaks and cuts her hair like his and pretends to be him at this like competition. And so it's interesting. And then there's this boy who like becomes her friend because he thinks she's her brother, but then she starts having a crush on him. So there's like that tension. It's a wild movie.
Wait a minute. So this is like the Disney Channel version of like She's the Man, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Before She's the Man came out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay. I don't hate this. It's so funny. I remember you made me think about I had like a dirt bike boyfriend at one point who like, you know, like the ones who have the dirt bikes who it's like their life. I had one of those at one point. So I'm laughing because I'm like, how did I forget about that? There's something about it, the confidence. So my movie was Gotta Kick It Up, the first one.
He said when
Yes. It means yes, we can.
You know what I learned this last week about that movie? So the coach, guess who she plays like in a Disney movie?
Who?
She's McGuire from Hercules.
No way.
Yeah, she's got a voice on her.
What? Yeah, so this was a cute movie. It's basically about this high school dance team that was really underfunded and they were without a coach originally, right? Their coach, like, it's been a minute.
No, so because I remember the auditions, these girls needed some love to enhance their dance moves.
Yeah.
And I just have to say this, it introduced us to the legendary America Ferrera. This was like one of her earliest roles, if not the first.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. And I love America. I think she's so great. By the way, she's in the new Barbie movie. I just noticed. I'm so excited.
It's so epic.
I can't wait. But yeah, no, this was a crazy movie. And they had their teacher who was a past dancer who became their coach and helps them learn how to become a team, essentially, be able to dance, create routines. And essentially, this school was a really low-funded school. It was a school that had a lot of fighting trouble. The girls were kind of what you would consider, I guess, troubled. They were very lost in a sense. And this dance team kind of brought them all together. There was, what happened with the competition? I'm trying to remember. It's been a hot minute since I've seen this movie.
I mean, it's been
I should have gotten it better.
20 years or whatever. So if you've not seen it, you can either skip or deal with the spoiler because you should have watched it by now. They did not win. But I think that was always good because as a kid, you were expecting it to hear like whatever their team name was, they're the winners, and they didn't win. And I think that was real. And no matter how hard we work, sometimes you're not going to get first place or the job you want or whatever it is you're working towards. Just sometimes it's not meant to be. But at the same time, they worked hard. They got uniforms. They formed a team. They improved their dance moves, and they got second place. So coming from nothing.
Yeah, I think it's a real way to say, like, yeah, like you said, you're not always going to win first place, but you're going to win a lot of other ways. You know, you're going to gain friendships, a team, you know, you're going to improve in other ways. So yeah, it was a very nice, heartfelt story mixed with some girliness of, like, you know, the dancing and everything and all that.
Yes.
So I thought it was really cute. And in America, I mean, God, I love it.
I really liked that movie too. It gave some representation to Latino girls and their upbringings. And then what I really liked as a curvy girl was having America Ferrera in there. And I think that's why we all love her. She's unapologetic of who she is. And seeing a young girl, this is before Raven, you know, seeing a young girl just like, this is who I am. It was very inspiring.
100%. Yeah. She's always, I agree. I think unapologetically herself is very much the best way to describe her. And it's nice to have somebody to look up to that is unapologetically themselves, especially from a woman's standpoint. So it's very respectable.
Okay. So my next one, a lot of mine are like the sports themed ones, but
so
double teamed. Do you remember this one? Okay. So another set of twins. But it was Heidi and Heather. They were twin girls who started out playing, and this was based off a true story. I believe they were actually in the WNBA, and this was kind of their upbringing story. So they originally played volleyball, and a scout had talked to their dad and said, you know, they'll probably be good at basketball, give them an opportunity at this high school. And it just, I don't know, they had a lot of issues as sisters and whatnot, but yeah, it was just kind of their story of becoming WNBA players.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting story of twins. I remember it being very much just like kind of how they were trying to navigate changing personalities. Like I know one of them wanted to be like in a play, in the movie, and one of them, you know, was very hardcore into her basketball, you know, skills and things like that. And so just kind of the dynamic of that and just seeing like the twins and how they kind of evolved through their high school career, but also still trying to maintain their basketball, because like you said, I think it was their dad was pretty involved in their basketball career, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was kind of like navigating through that. It was an interesting story, and it was interesting to find out later on that it was actually based on a true story.
So that's one I thought I'd bring up because it just popped in my head.
It's a good one. I wasn't like a big, you know, sporty girl like back in the day, so it was funny how I kind of fell into this movie. I don't know. I enjoyed it. And even though it was heavily faced with like the basketball stuff, it had that like girly sense to it too.
Right.
I think with it being a real story, that's probably why.
Yeah, I think with those DCOMs, they just, I don't know, they were like designed. It didn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, like it was going to inspire you in some way or another.
Yeah, I think that was nice. A lot of like, I agree. I think all these movies were for everybody. Anyone could watch it, and it didn't feel like it was very one-sided, like gender wise. So my next one was one of the older ones, actually. This one came out in 1999.
Oh, dang.
Which it's so funny because it's meant to be more futuristic than we even are now. Yeah.
Oh, do I know what it is?
Smart House.
Yep. Smart House is iconic.
I love Smart House. Honestly, I wanted a smart house. Now, being where we are now with our level of AI and everything, no thank you.
Well, that was the moral of the story.
I know. I know. I was going to say based on that. And I mean, even just coming to full circle, like even now, no, thank you. Yeah. So basically what ends up happening is there's a 13-year-old boy. His name is Ben Cooper. And he enters a contest to win a smart house, and him and his family, they end up winning it. His father is recently widowed. So they lost their mother. So it's him, his sister, and his dad move into this house, and you know they're working through life and all that. And essentially, what happens is the house falls in love with the dad, right?
I don't think she necessarily fell in love with him. I think it was more so she wanted to become a mother, because it shows Pat
Doing like the
maybe-
50s housewife. Well, because she was offended when he starts dating.
I think that was part of her meltdown, but I think, what's the little boy's name? Scott, did you
Ben?
say? Ben. Okay.
Mhm.
I think Scott's his dad, but Ben, he said something and it like sparked like upset with her. And so she was like, oh, you want a mother? I'll get you a mother. And there's a scene where it's just like a little IT room where all the computers for it are. And she starts playing like it's supposed to be like an I Love Lucy and like all these little mother dearest shows, doing her research on what a mother's supposed to be. And then that's when the whole house meltdown happened.
So basically, okay, so then it's not falling in love. It's basically that. So because the dad starts dating, and basically I think what's happening is it starts to like, she's like, well, no, I'm mothering the children. You're coming in. It's like a glitch malfunction.
And the lady he was dating was the creator of the house. I think her name was Sarah.
You're right. It was.
I've seen that movie so many times.
Oh my God. No, I love this movie. Didn't Sarah have glasses? For some reason, I remember her having glasses.
Yeah. And blonde hair.
Yes. Oh my God. Such a misogynistic way to look at a creator, like a woman who created something. Like, let's make her have glasses and blonde hair.
I know, right?
Ugh.
But it was such an iconic movie. Like you had, so like Ryan Merriman played Ben, who later went into The Luck of the Irish and did some other stuff. He was Ian Thomas in Pretty Little Liars. The little girl, his sister, she was in Brink. She was the little sister in Brink.
Oh.
Too. And then the dad, I know he played Peyton's dad on One Tree Hill, but I've seen him in something else recently too. And he was, it was Quantico. He played this girl's dad, and he was a scumbag in that one.
Oh, damn.
But,
I was going to say he plays the dad, but then you're like, he's a scumbag. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, but no, like I've seen him in so many things playing dads. So he's one I just always registered as like the dad. Do you remember like the scene where they're having the party and like 5 is on the screen, and then when Angie, the little sister's like in her bedroom jumping on the bed, they're playing Bewitched on the wall.
Yes.
Like it was so iconic of that time.
God. I know, right? I wanted everything. Like when it was just a giant TV and they could dance and man, I wanted it so bad.
Oh my gosh. And when the guys go up and they're doing the dance moves, how cringy was that?
Oh my God. It makes me think about Fast Forward. Have you ever seen the movie? It was a DCOM, Stuck in the Suburbs.
Yes.
Do you remember when they danced?
Love that one.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you'd seen that one because it's a later one.
I feel like that was supposed to be cringy though. Like we all did that.
Yeah.
So it was like something you could relate to. It was supposed to be cringe.
That's okay, fair. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Because they were fangirling over Jordan.
You're right. And you did that with your friends, whereas like guys did not just randomly break out into dance.
Exactly. I think that's what was cringy, because they were like these cool dudes who were trying to show off in front of the girls, and they're like doing this boy band dance, trying to show off to what was her name, Gwen, that he liked.
Was it Gwen?
I think it was, because I always was like Gwen. And
I'm looking at it. Her name was Gwen. Why would they do that?
One.
That was such an iconic one. Oh my God.
Definitely a movie of the time.
Hundo. Okay.
Okay, so my next movie, speaking of the little sister in Brink, so I picked Brink. This like I rank that personally number 2. I feel like Zenon's got to be number 1, but I loved Brink. So Brink it had Eric Von Detten in it, who he was in the show called So Weird, and then he grew to be in The Princess Diaries as one of the love interests. But yeah, so Brink, and then he had his group of friends, and they were the soul skaters who skated for fun. And then there was like the bad guys, the other skating team, and I think Val was the name of the leader of that one. Fun fact, I went to elementary school with a girl whose sister was friends with him.
Well,
yeah. So just fun fact thrown in there. And then one of the guys on that team played the Black Power Ranger, Zach. Like this one also had people in it too. But yeah, so then they skate for money, and then Brink has, I forget, like somebody in his family had like financial hardship for medical issues or something. And so he starts skating. He like goes to the dark side to skate for money, and then his friends get mad at him, and then there's this competition coming up, and it's a good movie. It's good about morals. Selling out.
It's selling out. It's just funny how you were like, it's good about morals and selling out.
I kind of was just BSing as I was going on.
No, that's so funny. But no, I mean, this just kind of gives me classic Disney vibes, right? Like where it's basically where like your protagonist kind of becomes the antagonist, but then they learn from that experience.
Yes, very Katie Heron.
Yeah, very much. Oh my God, Mean Girls. Throw back and shout out. So my next one is Quince. So I don't know if you guys have seen that one. So this one is with our beloved Kimberly J. Brown, who goes on to do Halloween Town. Did it goes on, or did this come out after? I can't remember.
I want to say it came out after.
Okay, so this is her continuation of acting. She doesn't really do anything after this, if I recall. I think.
No, because we were talking about this last week. Like she would be, her and her husband would be great in a Hallmark movie.
Yes, still agree. I still agree. But yeah, so this was where she's 13, right? Let me make sure. 14. Yeah, see, I knew that was going to be wrong. There was a little ellipses in the way. So 14-year-old Jamie Grover, she was an only child, and she, resented the constant attention that her parents gave her until her mom gave birth to quintuplets. And
this movie was wild.
This was a fever dream of a movie. I don't even know why this movie came out. Like, I don't know what it was trying to show other than, but anyway, I'll get into it. But so basically, like, they try to hire like a babysitter. It ends up not working because she's so exhausted by trying to maintain 5, newborn children. And basically there's a lot of hype around the Quints, and they get a diaper deal. Like they become kind of famous.
Lots of media attention. Like I remember like the news reporters are always outside of the house, and Jamie was getting sick of it.
Yeah. She wasn't like an up and coming artist. Like she was very creative. And so like she would be in art class. She was in an art show in the movie.
Yeah.
And she and that was actually kind of like the turning point, because she was always really angry. And so they came to the art show after, a whole blow up from Jamie, basically, of like her parents not paying attention to her anymore. And they come to the show and they realize her whole entire show was based on the Quints, what she drew was all the babies.
Very wholesome movie.
It was just like a very family oriented, like maybe your older sister is a little bit mean, but she actually means well and loves you. And I think being an older sister, it kind of put things in perspective for me, where I was like, you know what? I always knew I loved my siblings, but maybe I could be a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And that's gotta be a rough change. I know it's fiction, but 14 years you're used to one thing, and then just the complete opposite happens within 9 months.
And at 14, what a pivotal time in your
That's a rough time.
Oh, at that point I was a train wreck. I was a monster. I had so many emotions. I don't know about you, but I couldn't figure them all out. Like,
yeah, but I just have to highlight where we're on this topic. Prime. If she was 14 for real, especially for a 14-year-old, prime acting when she's quivering her chin and it's just shaking because she's about to cry. Like, it needs to be like a GIF or something, because it's just so iconic.
Iconic. I mean, for child acting, because she was a child at the time, I mean, that was like real emotion she dug into to do that.
Yeah, I can't tell you when I saw that movie last. It had to be like, when did that come out?
When did this one come out? Where is it? 2000.
Okay, so probably saw it last 2003, 2002. I don't know.
Yeah.
That stuck with me.
Yeah, no, because because it's a movie, but then she put in the real emotion. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Disney knew how to tug on our heartstrings, and they knew how to do it the right way.
Yes, they did. Okay, so my next one, I don't know if many people remember this one. It's called Miracle in Lane 2. Do you remember this one?
I don't.
without
You're
a
picking-
description? Okay.
Uh-uh.
All right. So the brother was also in Brink, but
Wait a minute.
this starred an iconic Mr. Frankie Muniz.
I'm looking at it now. I did see this movie.
Okay, I figured you had. You just didn't. I was going to tell you it was Frankie Muniz, and that probably would have unleashed it. So,
Totally.
and this is based off of a true story as well. So Frankie Muniz plays this little boy. His name is Justin, and he is in a wheelchair, but he wants to participate in what's it called, a soapbox derby, where you sit in the car, and he's paralyzed waist down, so he can't operate the gas and the brake. Well, there's no gas on it. It's going downhill, but he can't operate the brake. So they customize a handbrake for him. And so it just follows the life he had where, you know, he can't get up and walk. He's got to be lifted everywhere if he's not in his wheelchair. That's frustrating. His brother gets frustrating because he's always the center of attention because of his, you know, lifestyle and what he has to go through. And so his brother feels neglected, and he's, you know, he kind of picks on him a little bit. And so Frankie Muniz's character's, you know, gets frustrated, and he goes, well, how do you think I feel? The attention's always on you because you're in a wheelchair. And it kind of enlightened him on, you know, he's not the only one that has struggles. And, you know, there's issues with, well, is this legal to have a handbrake because everyone else has to use a foot brake? They have to deal with those challenges. They have to deal with, at the beginning, you know, actually building the thing. And yeah, it's a really inspiring little movie.
You know, I noticed this, and I feel like it's a pattern with a lot of Disney movies. Not only were they good at kind of invoking emotion, but they did a good job of getting these based on a true stories and kind of giving you the feel goods.
Yeah.
Which was nice. I think it was nice that we had like a lot of, like, it would come back to a moral at the end. Like, you know, we don't really have movies that do that like this anymore.
I'm telling you, 90s Disney Channel it's untouched.
Yeah, no, this is everything. And as I was kind of looking at some of these movies and going back through, I was like, do I need to go sit and spend a day on Disney Plus? Because like like, why not? Yeah, I completely forgot about this movie until you brought it up again, but I've totally seen this movie. And I remember, I think I cried during this movie.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those that tugs at your heartstrings.
And it was a young, cute little Frankie.
So what is your last one?
Okay, so my last one, sticking it with some racing stuff, it's called Right on Track. And I'm pulling
with Beverly Mitchell and Brie Larson.
Yes, Brie Larson, by the way.
Yeah. That
Captain
was like
Marvel.
Yeah. So what's weird about that one, I did not know who she was, but whenever they'd be like, Right on Track with Beverly Mitchell and Brie Larson, I'm like, what? Who's Brie Larson? Now it's like, you don't know Brie Larson?
Do you remember she did music? She did music too. Do you remember?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was her. Hold on, where's my phone? Let me make sure. I'm not lying to you.
She was also, I don't know if you ever saw Sleepover with Alexa Vega and Sarah Paxton. She was Sarah Paxton's like little sidekick.
Let me make sure. No, it was her. Brie Larson. She had a song called She Said, and I loved this song. It was a really cheesy song where it was like, she said, I gotta find out for myself. You don't remember this song?
I don't, but I'm gonna look it up.
It was the cheesiest like pop song ever. And it's totally auto-tuned. You can tell it's like probably not her voice. But anyway.
Like a Disney Channel pop kind of music.
You know what? Did it come out on Disney Channel? Because I bet it sounds like what was that? What was Hilary Duff's first song? What was the name of it?
So Yesterday?
No, the one that came out on Disney Channel with the bubbles.
I Can't Wait.
Yes, it's got like the I Can't Wait type of like auto tune to it. So,
the good Disney pop type music.
I can't wait. Do you remember the bubbles and everything?
A little bit, yeah. I just remember it was like a montage between her recording that in the studio and then just little clips from the show.
Yeah. Oh my God, I miss Disney Channel back in the day. I get why they want to cancel the actual channel. I was a little bit upset, but thinking about it, yeah, it doesn't hit the same oomph when everyone's streaming now.
I think they were just gonna move to streaming.
Yeah.
Because now for kids stuff, they have some on the channel and then they have some on Disney Plus. So I think the reasoning was to stick it all to streaming because that's where we're moving as a society.
Yeah, the only thing I think of is from like a toddler standpoint, like or Disney Junior. It might be good to keep like a Disney Junior just
True.
because it's easy to. Some kids get bored with just like all Coco Melon or whatever. I know it's not like necessarily Disney, but if it can change it up with like Blue's Clues and like whatever.
Back to Erica Enders.
Yeah. Okay. So this was another based on a true story one. And it was about two sisters who were junior drag racers, and they're on their way kind of to make it to the top of a male dominated sport, basically. They fight a battle of fellow racers who are against having girls race with them. So it pushes them harder to compete against competition. So it's basically, like I said, they're fighting against men essentially, and they're competing against each other because they're sisters who are both racing in the same sport too. Basically, Erica, which was the older sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she became stressed when her racing life mixed with some of her social and academic stuff, and she actually decides to quit racing at one point in the movie. Spoiler alert, she ends up coming back to racing. And so at the end, the two Enders sisters, because their last name was Enders, I don't know if I mentioned that, sorry. It's Courtney and Erica Enders. They both go out to win the NHRA Junior Dragster National title. And they still race today, is what it says. It says they raced through high school, college, and they says they still do so today. But I don't know when this article was updated. So
wow. The only thing I really remember about this movie, besides the racing and who was in it, I remember a scene where this girl like made a sassy comment like, oh, it's not even a sport, and then Erica like goes off on her like, you have to do this and this, and you could go through this you know, and you have to do all the safety. So yeah, I would call it a sport. And I don't remember what exactly she said, but she proved her point. I was like, thanks, sis, go off.
That is funny. I remember a specific scene where it was like she was trying to beat her time. I just remember seeing the red, yellow, green, and she like her taking off on the drag race.
Yeah.
I just remember that vividly in my head. I don't know why, but there was like something about it because there was like, didn't she like, what was the big drama in this movie? There was like a drums that happened. Didn't she like almost crash or something? One of the sisters in the movie.
Did Courtney actually crash? I don't know.
There was like something happened where she got scared, and I think that's why she ended up stopping racing. Like one of them crashed in the movie. I swear there was something where she like hit a wall or something happened, and the dad was like scared. I think it was Courtney who hits the wall or something, not the wall, but like she gets in an accident.
I want to say it was Courtney.
Yeah. I don't know. Unimportant, I guess, but it was a really good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's a good movie about sisters too, and a little bit of like competition between sisters and how like, you know, competition isn't necessarily always the most important thing. What's your last one?
So my last one is The Phantom of the Megaplex.
Nice.
Do you remember that one?
I remember it, but vaguely, because this one's an oldie too.
Yeah. So this one, what was his name? I watched this one from time to time.
The actor or the guy in the movie?
It's Taylor Handley is the actor.
Oh yeah, Pete.
Thank you. So Pete, and then he had his sister Karen, and Brian was the little brother. So Pete is like this overachieving guy. He's, I think, 16, and he's managing work, and then he's he had just gotten promoted to assistant manager at the Megaplex of their town. And his mom is played by the lady who plays Aunt Judy on Zenon. Like, Disney just kept using the same people.
That's so funny.
So they're doing this big premiere of this big Hollywood movie that's coming out, and the reason it's hitting their town is because the director or something grew up there and worked at that theater before he got into like making movies. So they have it there. And Mickey Rooney plays like this little, I don't know what to call him. He's like a little zany old man who's too old to work, but he just loves movies so much that he is a self-proclaimed volunteer there. And so the plot of the movie is there's this phantom, and it kind of follows Phantom of the Opera in that sense, but there's this phantom just causing all sorts of chaos in the megaplex leading up to this big premiere at midnight. And so like projectors are breaking or playing things they're not supposed to. People are getting kidnapped and tied up in places, and just different stunts are going on to sabotage this premiere, and they're trying to figure out who's doing it. And so he is trying to manage all of this. And then he's also got this girl coming in from school that he likes, and he invited her to the premiere. And then his brother and sister end up there, and they weren't supposed to be there, but mom had a date. And so there's all this going on. He's trying to make sure the kids or his brother and sister are, you know, where they're supposed to be behaving and that they're okay. And then he's also got this chaos going on. And then the three of them together trying to figure out what's going on, who the phantom is, etc. So it's like a mystery horror movie, but it's also comedy.
This is very like of the 2000s, like where it's like
Yes.
a bunch of kids and like, you know, the older sibling with the younger ones, and then maybe some friends along the way trying to go figure out like what's going. It's very Scooby-Doo, but like not.
Yes. Maybe that's why I loved it. And then
Yeah.
I just remember like all of his coworkers at the beginning. Do you remember like he was like saying their names, but they're all known for stuff?
I don't remember this part.
Okay, so there was this girl named Lacey, and she was always in a hurry and like talked really fast, so he called her Racy Lacey. There was a guy who anytime you asked him to do something or anything, he would reply in a question, and his name was Mark, so he'd call him Question Mark. And there was this girl who always had like conspiracy theories or horror stories to share, and her name was Terry, so he called her Scary Terry.
Wait, this is great. That's a good way to remember people's names, and it just makes me think of House Bunny when she's like, Natalie.
Yeah. Joanne.
You do it so better than I do.
You have to like growl.
Oh, you guys don't want me to do that, trust me.
No, I love that movie so much. I always quote that part too. And for the longest time, Nicholas was like, what are you talking about? And we tried to stream it, but whatever service streaming it had an error. And I think it's on Max now. And we just watched it like within the last few months. I was like, oh my gosh, it's on. Sorry, we're watching this tonight. We're not watching our show. We're watching this. And he liked it.
It's cute. It's funny.
Yeah.
I should get Eric to watch. I don't know if he's seen it.
Yeah, it's not totally chick flick. Like it's got enough humor for guys to laugh at, and it's not too inappropriate like I thought. My parents wouldn't let me watch it, you know, and it's like I get it because it's wrapped around Playboy, but it's really not as bad as you would think it is.
Yeah, it's just like, it's really not. It's not. I would say maybe not young kids, but I don't think they would
12,
understand.
13. I think 12, 13.
Yeah. I think it's PG-13, right?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so then there we go. Yeah, but anyway, I don't think a kid would understand anyway.
Before we wrap this up, so in Phantom of the Megaplex, if you watch closely enough, you and I, maybe not our listeners, but he doesn't play a big role in this, but Jason from Mean Girls is in this movie. He works at the theater with them.
Something, an Easter egg to go find.
Yeah, and I swear I only realized this because I've watched Mean Girls so many times, and Jason is a skis.
Attention all DCPs, cast members, and all other Disney fanatics. Do you have an interesting story related to Disney?
Maybe you'd love to share what it was like working for the mouse, or why Disney holds a special place in your heart.
Or maybe you want to give us the dirty details about your roommate and how awful they are.
I mean, yeah.
Write into us. We'd love for you to share your story on the pod.
Or even have you share your story on the pod.
That too.
Don't worry, if you want to stay anonymous, you can. Chris from Orlando.
Reach out to us at twofingerpointpodcast.com/contact or DM us wherever you're connected.
Okay, so what time is it?
I think it's time for our two-finger point.
I think so too.
All right. Do you want to go first? I usually go first.
Yeah, I can go first today.
Yeah.
So mine is just a little simple one. I feel like Esmeralda should have been deemed a Disney princess. I
Yes.
always loved her. I always like my favorite colors are teal or turquoise and purple.
Mhm.
Her dress is that those colors. Beautiful, just a gorgeous lady, and she was kind and loving. And I think the fact that she sat there with Quasimodo and made him feel worth something when everybody else did not, I think that shows her character. She was brave, she stood her ground, and stood up for what was right. And I think those are things that emulate a Disney princess.
I agree. No, I fully agree with you. I think she definitely deserved the right of princess, and she met all the qualifications. She was brave, she was kind, she did it all. I mean, yeah, no, justice for Esmeralda. And I
Yep.
loved her too. I mean, I remember like even like all the bangles she had on her and everything too.
Yes.
I remember how beautiful just everything about her. And her hair. I just
Yes.
remember
She was so
her.
gorgeous.
She was beautiful. Yeah. Definitely justice for Esmeralda.
Yeah. And I watched this recently, as I've mentioned, but there's just a scene where he calls himself a monster, and she, is a gypsy. So she said, "Let me see your palm." And she starts reading it, and she's like, I don't see any monster in here. And it's just a little simple gesture, and
So sweet.
you used to see him kind of change, like, oh, I'm not a monster. And this beautiful lady sees that in me. It's just, I don't know. I feel like that's princess behavior.
It's so wholesome. It is very princess behavior. You're absolutely right. And it's just kind, It's
Yes.
like it's not hard to be kind. And I think we forget that sometimes.
Mhm.
People, it doesn't take anything to be kind. It takes a lot to be a butthole, but it takes nothing to be kind.
Yeah.
Justice for and her colors. Oh my God. I would have loved to have like a purple and teal princess dress. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be her for Halloween.
I was just thinking that.
My hair is long right now. We're at a
Yeah.
long phase.
It's long and dark.
Be interesting. Okay. We'll have to tell Eric about that. This could be interesting. Justice for Esmeralda.
Sorry, I was just thinking, I was like, he could be Quasimodo, but I'm like,
I was thinking the same
no,
thing too.
he's so tall and thin, like he could never.
I know, I totally thought it too, but I didn't want to say it. I was like, he could be, but I was like, he's way too tall. Can you imagine?
No, he's too tall, and like he would hurt himself.
Yeah,
Like
it wouldn't
he'd have
be
to
good.
hurt his back. Because
I'm thinking,
like, if he was shorter, he could just like put something behind him to look like a hunchback. But sorry, Eric.
yeah, that could not work. What I thought would be really funny for
What?
him would be Hades at one point. You can't tell me that's not funny.
Yeah, I'm imagining like because he's so creative. Like I could see him if he was comfortable enough getting like into character.
Oh no, he loves it. He fully will make a full costume. Like he would make like the blue hair somehow, and he'd find a way to light it up.
Oh, I
He
mean
would,
like the act too. Like I
Oh,
could see
yeah.
him just full on in character if he's comfortable enough about who he's around.
Oh, 100. And that's so funny. Like not
I'd
only
pay to
does
see
he,
that.
Oh, me too. Like I think I need to make him be Hades at one point. He would have been a great character. He should have tried to audition as well. He's kind of tall.
Yeah, he might be too tall knowing Disney.
Yeah, he's too tall. He's like 6'2".
I might have an idea. He could be the prince from Phoebus from Hunchback. He's the prince guy or captain. He's a captain. The blonde guy that Esmeralda ends up dating anyway.
Let me see his. What is that? Apparently, there's a name of wine called Phoebus. Fun fact. Oh my God, no, he would love this because
He could make like the armor. He would have fun doing that.
Yeah. So he already did when we did Mark Antony and
Cleopatra.
yeah, so he has, well, no, I think he threw it away, but he learned how to paper mache it basically, and he paper mache'd it, and he created like a whole armor, and it was, oh, he would have fun doing that.
Yeah.
And then he could be blonde, put a little blonde wig on him.
Yeah, and he just needs to grow a little bit right here.
Oh, he can do right here.
Yeah, I think that'd be easy.
Or we'll just stick it on him.
Oh my gosh.
No, you can draw it though. Like you can do it with like pencil, do like a quick little like.
True. Or like a mascara even, just.
Yeah. Have you seen girls do that where they put like the mustache or like they fake
Yes.
mustaches? Yeah.
I think that's how I knew.
Yeah. When you said it, I thought about it and he would totally be down. That's the thing is he's always looking for like a fun costume and this would be great.
I vote for you guys to be Phoebus and Esmeralda.
I think he's gonna vote yes too.
If I were there, I would totally volunteer to be Quasimodo.
Would not do that to you.
It'd be funny though.
It would be extremely funny, but like I would feel bad the entire time.
Okay, if you guys dress up more than once, I thought of another one, a villain themed one.
Which one?
You as Yzma and him as Kronk.
Yes. Are you joking? I've
What
been
if that
dying
was
to be
great?
Yzma. I'm writing this down so I don't forget.
He's tall, and you're little, so it would work perfectly.
It would be so funny, and I'm kind of cynical sometimes. So
Yes!
it's like, and he's very happy.
That would be great.
I'm here for it. Yzma plus Kronk. I'm writing it so I don't forget. Okay, that's great.
If anybody would like my Halloween costume consulting, just DM us. I'm happy to throw some ideas out there for you.
Literally, I always have the hardest time doing it, so I know where to come every year now. Okay, so my 2-finger point of the week is I think Lizzie McGuire should have had a season or 2 when they were in high school. We got the movie where they graduated 8th grade, which, like, side note, why was there such a big deal about graduating 8th grade? Like, I know we had that, but like participation trophy, move on. Like,
yeah.
But they went to Europe. We didn't do anything crazy after 8th grade. They were like, congratulations, go to high school.
I didn't even get a trip for high school. My school didn't do anything like that.
We didn't either. No. What school was she going to? Because
I know some schools do like a senior trip, but usually it's domestic.
Jeez, the most that we had was like our choir would go to work, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Or Chicago or somewhere and go perform in one of those big like opera areas or whatever. Something like that. And I was supposed to go when I lived in Chicago with my Chicago school, but then I moved right before, so I didn't end up going with them. Whatever. But anyway, it's so boring. Nobody cares about that. But I think it would have been cool to see kind of like how that evolved. Like if we wanted to take tidbits from the movie, like Lizzie and Gordo dating because they kissed at the end. Her and Kate were kind of friends at the end of the movie. They didn't necessarily hate each other so much. It could have been interesting. I don't know.
Do you know anything like of the behind the scenes of why they stopped the show and everything?
No. So that could be interesting.
So
okay.
So part of this I know just because of like random things I've seen online, but I recently saw an interview. Christy Carlson Romano had interviewed Davida. I don't remember her last name, but she plays Claire in Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she actually has a podcast with Jake Thomas, and they do Lizzie. They watch the Lizzie, and it's like a rewatch podcast.
Shut up! I love rewatch podcasts.
I told you about this.
No,
it's called Living Lizzie or something like that.
Oh, I'm gonna look this up.
Just search Jake Thomas.
I love him.
He's yeah.
And it's a legit like rewatch. It's not like
yeah, they go out of order.
Okay.
No. They go out of order, but they talk about the episodes and they talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff too. Like but like in the sense of cinematography, like, oh, this is how we made this scene happen type of stuff.
Wait a minute. You did tell me about this pod. Because don't they talk about the thermostat, the thermometer episode?
Yes, the penny.
Okay, so you did tell me. Yeah.
Yes. Because I was like, I swear it was a penny at one point, and he helped me. So I was like, am I crazy? Like, I know there was a version of that.
This was not a Mandela effect.
Yeah, it was
That's
not.
funny.
So what happened? Well, okay, so I know part of it, not from her interview, but Hilary Duff had left the show because Disney was making so much money off of her and this show and this character, and she was not getting paid what she should have been. And her mom, from what I've heard, was like the Kris Jenner back in the day. Like she knew how to get what her daughters deserved, honestly. She's an icon. And so they walked away from Lizzie because Disney didn't want to pay her, and they were making all sorts of money off of merch and music, TV, you name it.
This is interesting because they were set to do a reboot and it didn't happen.
Well, that's separate.
It is, but it's interesting because she walked away kind of knowing what she wanted for the show and what she wanted for the character, and she walked away because they weren't willing to compromise with her.
Right.
And I think it's just interesting to see like her mom walked away, because they wouldn't compromise, and she did the same thing. So it just seems like they're very willing to compromise with Disney, but I don't think Disney wants to compromise with them, which is a little unfortunate.
But yeah, so they originally, this is what Davida had shared. They did the movie, and then they were going to continue in high school, but put it on ABC instead of Disney Channel.
Oh.
And so unfortunately it fell through, but that was the original plan.
Interesting. I didn't know about this. So I guess my hot take is sliced, but this is good information to know because I didn't know it. But I mean, actually my hot take is still there. I think it still stands.
It should have happened. We should have made Hillary happy. So we could have gotten the Lizzie we wanted, and we still want. And I'm the same thing. Like the reboot should have happened. And she even asked to put it on Hulu.
Mm-hmm. And
we all want it. We all want it.
We all sided with her about that. They just and this was, maybe she should try back with Bob Iger again, because we had a different CEO at the time. So just saying. We did, wasn't it? It was
2020.
Oh, it was 2020.
Like early 2020, because I remember where I was working when I read that news. It was where I got furloughed for 2020. So
it was around that time. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think he really is involved in all of that, probably
not.
But I don't know. I think because she's on, what is it? How I Met Your Father, and that's Hulu. So I think it was kind of like the swap. And so we're supposed to be getting Lizzie in that, even though she plays Sophie. But have you watched that show?
A little bit. I've seen a couple of episodes.
Did you see the Valentine's Day one? They legit put a clip from Lizzie McGuire in it.
Oh.
It was bizarre because it's kind of like she's Lizzie, not Sophie. But it's really cute. So they're all like doing flashbacks of like they're like talking about when like their first boyfriend or first Valentine or whatever, and like their humiliating stories. And they're like, what about yours? And it flashes back to the scene where there's Ronnie, her boyfriend, and she's on the phone. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And it's weird because if you know Lizzie McGuire, immediately you know what scene this is. And they're like, what am I watching right now?
It's like a weird flashback. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I personally really wanted both the growing of Lizzie McGuire, because she taught a lot of lessons. There was growth in her character. She was relatable in the sense of like we were the same age as her, so like things that she was dealing with, we were dealing with. I mean, the iconic bra episode, hello. Like I love that.
Yes, that one's a great one. I think that's probably the most known episode. I would have loved to see her in those adult situations, because I believe her character would have remained as Lizzie. We're just dealing with adult situations, but Disney wanted to avoid the adult situations. Who's going to watch this show, though? Us. We want to see that. We're going through that. We want to see how Lizzie's going to handle it.
Yeah, I think there were ways they could have done this, and I agree. I think the whole point was to see her as an adult, and like I said, we grew up with her, so maybe we got like we're getting back to her as an adult now, and it's like what she's dealing with, we're dealing with those things. So you can't cut those things out of life. They exist, they happen. Disney had a really good opportunity here, in my opinion, to really to tie back in a lot of these millennials into a show that could have been really great. And I'm still really disappointed they chose to not do it.
Right. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, Ethan's cute, but does Ethan have a job? You know, like these are the things our values have changed as we've gotten older, you know?
Yeah. You can't just have her doing these, you know, childlike things as an adult. Like there can be the essence of child in her the way that she carries herself. Like I felt like it was going to be, that's why it was relatable, because she's kind of stumbling through things as an adult, but like she's still dealing with adult situations. So I think,
Right.
I don't know, kind of like House Bunny, I guess, in a sense, right? Like we were just
Yeah.
talking, like she didn't know how to be an adult. She was stumbling into figuring out how to be an adult. Like there's something wholesome about that, because we're all
Yeah.
doing that. I technically have a part 2 finger
Okay.
point. I talk about this a lot, but I feel like I need to put it into the 2 finger point like area.
Okay.
And this is back to princesses again. I think Ariel's Little Mermaid ride still, I think it deserves to be in Fantasyland with the rest of the princesses and not cast away to California Adventure. I know
That's
she's
interesting.
yeah.
It's that way at Disney World. So it's interesting you say that.
Yeah, and that's another reason too. It's like I know she's close to the water in DCA. It just feels unfair. She's all the way over there. She's the only princess over there. I'm telling you, like back when I was buying park tickets, if I didn't have to park hop, I wouldn't. But I always wanted to ride Little Mermaid. They got that extra 100 out of me just because I want that one ride.
And maybe that's what they're doing.
Yeah, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to our story of the week. So I was just scouring, and honestly, it's so funny because I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take me to find a good story or comment, and I immediately went to Reddit, and this was like one of the first ones to pop up, and it made me laugh because it was a little embarrassing story, but it's like one of those ones that's like kind of funny, and it's kind of like a shoulda, woulda, coulda known better.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it.
Okay, so the title is Embarrassing Disney Stories. Anyone else willing to share a laugh? And it's by Mechanical Duck. So,
Mechanical Duck.
Funny. I don't know, right? So it says, during my last visit in 2012, my husband and I spent the evening at downtown Disney. We were staying at Port Orleans French Quarter, so we were catching a ferry boat back to the resort. We were standing in line waiting our turn, and I was leaning up against the fence facing the water. I start to push my knee through the fence slats. I don't know why. Boredom? The ferry boat pulls up and begins to load. That's when I realize I am stuck.
No. Oh my gosh.
I know. Can you imagine? Fear. My husband tells me to come along. I try to pretend like nothing was wrong. That would be me.
Gosh.
That would be me at first. I had to admit I was in fact a grown woman stuck in a fence. With a bit of pushing and a pulling, a big bruise later, I was freed and got on the boat. I have to say, I love my fellow Disney enthusiasts. Everyone was pretty cool about it and even laughed with me about it.
That's so funny.
This would be me, honestly. I would try to play it off so cool. Eric would be like trying to pull me, and I'd be like, no, I can't. No.
I'd be dramatic. I'd be like, I'm stuck.
This just makes me laugh because she got herself stuck. Eric and I, the first time we went to Disney on our first date, he tried, like, because he's very slender, he went through this one like area where it was like it was almost like a fence like this basically, but he could like fit through it. It was wide enough for a person to fit. And he tries to bring me along with him, and I have a chest. So
You're a woman.
sorry. I'm a woman. And so I like get halfway through and he's like still moving. I'm like, hey, no. And he like looks back and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't fit through there.
God. Yeah, it must be nice to not have a couple balls of fat on your chest.
Literally. So that was really funny. It's like one of his like, I don't know. He's like, yeah, I almost, let her get stuck in a fence basically the first time I met her.
So funny. Oh my gosh. At first I thought you were talking, because we've talked about Tom Sawyer Island, and I thought you were going to say he got stuck in there.
No, I keep asking him when we go, I'm like, are you going to get stuck? He's like, nah, I'll be all right. All right, so
all right, so our quiz, we're doing a BuzzFeed quiz. We will link it in the show notes for you if you want to play along. And we're doing, if you can match these 12 Disney foods to their movies, you're getting an A+ in Disney Studies. Ooh, I would have loved to major in that.
I write that? I didn't look much into. We got to type these out.
Oh, snap. Okay, so the first one is, we'll start off easy. Can you match these beignets to their movie? That's Princess and the Frog, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be.
Ding, ding, ding. We got it right. Okay. Can you match this unfinished pie to its movie? Oh, is that? Oh, it's Snow White.
Is that Snow White?
Because she's spelling out grumpy, right?
Oh, you're right. I was going to say Cinderella because I almost got that wrong. You're right, Snow White.
Ding, ding, ding.
Cute. Oh, she did spell
Aw.
cute. Okay, next. Oh,
Okay, do you recognize the spaghetti dinner?
Lady in the Tramp.
Yeah. I still need to watch the live action one of that.
I do too.
Where might I find these popsicles? That's what is it with Judy Hopps and what is it? Zootopia.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh my God.
It's
how
actually
cute.
a really good movie. I watched that. I don't know. I watched it pretty late in the game and I really liked it.
Can we talk about the little gif at the end of these little hamsters eating it?
That's so cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, that movie I think is more obviously it's a kids movie, but I think the concepts in it go over their head and it applies a lot to adults. So I think you'll enjoy it.
Which movie does this Sanji breakfast belong to?
This looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you.
Is this Mulan?
It could be. Let's try it. Dang girl, you got that.
I did. I saw
Got
the
that.
chopsticks.
Oh,
and-
that's a good telling.
And I just remember Mulan eating when oh God, what is his name? Mushu?
Mushu, yeah.
Yeah, when he shoves it in her mouth and her cheeks get big.
Okay. And now that I'm looking back, you can see his little claws.
Oh, you can. I didn't even notice those.
I think they darkened the image to
They did, yeah.
disguise it. Okay,
Interesting.
next one. Which film is this pill bug dish from? Okay, I see fingers. There's this bamboo. Oh, what is this from? It
I'm
wouldn't
trying to think.
be Emperor's New Groove, is it? I'm like trying to look at the background. I'm like,
That's what I
Kronk?
yeah, that was kind of my vibe. It's very, yeah.
I'll try it.
If it's not that, I was gonna guess. You're gonna guess that? Okay.
Yeah. It is.
Oh,
That's
it was
it.
Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we just got to pay attention to the background and we'll make it through.
Are these fluffy pancakes ringing any bells? Which movie are they from? Oh, this is a newer movie.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's definitely got that new animation.
What has come out recently?
I'm trying to pay attention to the back. It's not. It wouldn't be Wreck-It Ralph, would it?
Maybe that, or like, I don't know, maybe like Big Hero 6.
I've never seen that movie,
I
which
haven't
still
either.
want to, so I can't.
I'm just, the only thing that's going off of it is like San Yokio is San Francisco and red. That's the only thing I'm going off of.
Okay, we could try it.
But I don't think
Obviously,
I'm
it's
right.
not going to tell us what if we're wrong. It's not going to tell us the answer. No, that's wrong.
Okay. Wreck-It Ralph. Let's try that.
Oh, it was.
Oh, you were right.
Oh, it's Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen that one. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, in which movie might I find these Eat Me cookies? This one's easy, right?
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
I always wanted to eat these cookies because they looked so good.
Why don't they have these in the park?
They should. I don't know why.
That
They
should be
have
like a
tea.
staple. But that should be like a staple thing to have in like the confectionery.
You're right. This would actually be really cute. Yeah, they've got like Mad Hatter tea basically.
Yeah. No, I had a friend buy that like whole set and she gave me some of the blueberry and it was really good.
Ooh. What is the name of this movie? I know this.
Can you match this delicious arepa to this movie? This is Encanto.
Oh, it is, because I was thinking, I'm like, we don't talk about Bruno.
All right. Which movie is this delicious platter in? That is Beauty and the Beast, because that's the gray stuff, right?
Oh. I was thinking something totally different, but you might be right. I think you're right.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking something more that didn't even make sense, like Aristocrats, because everything behind it looks very like French, which Beauty and the Beast is French too, so.
Okay, can you match these chocolates to their movie? This is Frozen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And finally, what is the movie is this uneven cake from?
That is Sleeping Beauty.
Well,
That is Sleeping Beauty. I aspire to have that cake one day.
oh, I put Sleepy Beauty. I'm sleeping.
She's sleepy. It's okay. We did it.
Yay! So we got 100% minus the Wreck-It Ralph, but we got it on the second try. So we got 95%, we'll say.
Yeah, we're Disney experts. It's no big deal. Like we didn't know.
We got an A+ in Disney studies. Yeah, I liked that. Let us know how you guys did if you took the quiz with us. Comment or DM us.
And thank you for watching today's episode. We'll catch you guys next week for another episode of Two Finger Point. Why was that so hard at the end? Thank you for listening to Two Finger Point, hosted by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Created by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Produced by Amber Omar. Engineered by Kylie Salmon. Social media managed by Kylie Salmon. Content created by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Stay connected with us by following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube at Two Finger Point Podcast with the number 2 spelled out, TWO. You can also contact us by visiting our website at twofingerpointpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast to have new episodes automatically downloaded to your device or to get alerts of our new episodes on YouTube. We greatly appreciate you rating and reviewing our podcast as well. You could be selected to have your review read on the podcast, like this review here from our friend Zoe, My Disney Podcast Fix. Amber and Kylie have put together the perfect podcast about all things Disney. Love to hear their banter, their opinions, their recommendations, and I love following along with their quiz at the end of each episode. You know it's a good podcast when you find yourself chiming in. Listening to them every week has me feeling connected to the parks even when I'm far away. Thanks, ladies. Thanks to you too, Zoe. We will catch you next Tuesday for our next episode, but until then, have a magical day.